everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a fun little tutorial using the square Brutfuner pencils, and we're going to color a pumpkin. So I'm working on a page in Fairy Touch of Magic by Clara Markova. This was voted as my channel's buddy color page. You're more than welcome to join in. All you have to do is either join my Discord to share your piece. You can also share it on Instagram and tag me. I have a hashtag for it. You can also upload it to Facebook. So the page that we are working on is actually the nameplate page, which is perfect because I think there's a hashtag for coloring nameplates. But I wanted to show you guys how I colored the pumpkin using some Brutfuners. I colored this ginormous pumpkin on my Wednesday, and today I'm going to color it with you guys. So let me get the colors. Quite a few colors here, I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's zoom you in a little bit. We're going to be coloring this little pumpkin down here so it doesn't take as long, hopefully. But here are the colors. So zoom you guys in a little more just so you can see the pencils at least. So we're going to use number 22, 25, 109, 004, 091, and 078. Okay. So first thing you're going to do is take your 22, and we're just going to wiggle this in here. This is our darkest color, so it's going to create a lot of our shadows. Now, this color combo, you kind of want to mix and match around. Don't do the exact same thing for every single pumpkin. I mean, if you've been to a pumpkin patch, you know, the pumpkins don't look all uniform. So you want some that are a little more brown, others that aren't. I'm kind of using a medium to heavy pressure here. You'll end up needing probably about 2 layers, give or take. And that's just because while these do great on this paper, they still need to build up a teensy bit. I'm going to create a little shadow under the eyes and around the nose. This one's obviously a little different than the other pumpkin because this one has a face. Didn't realize how awkward it would be trying to color off the edge of the book here. Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot to mute my phone. As you can see, I'm kind of placing it in the shadow areas where I'd like it to be a little darker. Okay. Next, we want to take our 025. It's a lighter brown, almost like a rusty color. We're going to overlap the brown we had put down and also bring it out a little. I definitely want to put it in here to kind of show that there's going to be like little divots. See how it's kind of like an orangish brown color? It'll transition really well into the actual orange colors, and we have a few. Can you do this with less colors? Yes. So if you have the smaller set, say the 72 count, I don't know how many of these are in that 72 count, so you'll want to kind of take a look there, but if you do only have the 72 count, just see how many colors do work. And you can skip a couple oranges. These layer up really well, so you'll be fine. Put that in there. perfect fall color. We might not even need 2 layers depending on how these build up. Just depends. Always have a brush nearby. Okay, now let's grab our 109. So this is our dark orange, and I'm still kind of overlapping some of my browns here. I believe last year I did a tutorial for coloring a pumpkin with Prismacolors. And since it is B is for September, I thought, you know what, I should show you guys a pumpkin using Brutfuners. These pencils have become really popular, especially in the coloring community, because they are freakishly cheap and they're great pencils, so it's kind of a win-win. But that's why I wanted to get a tutorial for these. I could do it with Black Widow. Black Widow has a great selection for fall. Problem is most of the combos I use with Black Widow are, well, mixed between all the tins. So if you only had like a couple of those tins, you may not have all the colors, and I would hate for you to just buy the tins to be able to do this. So that's my biggest gripe with Black Widow. I really love the pencils. They're awesome. I just wish they weren't sold in sets. But a lot of people like the sets. It's just like when you're trying to follow like a hair combo, or I'm trying to create a hair series, I'm like, well, okay, I'm always trying to find a way to use as few of the sets as possible, but in the end, the color result really does suffer. Like, I can't get the same colors that I want to get, you know? Okay, now we're going to grab 004. Now this is kind of a yellow-orange color. That's because we'll be transitioning into yellow, and yellow is our highlight color. Again, I'm still overlapping everything that I've already placed on the paper. And this kind of just helps build up some layers, and then I kind of just feather it lightly to where I plan to introduce my next color. I'm blowing away the dust as opposed to brushing it. I'll break out the brush soon. I can't get over how soft these pencils are though. It's so crazy. Okay. Now I'm leaving the pumpkin's lips alone for now. We'll tackle that later. The point of this is just to kind of show the little pumpkin tutorial. Okay. Next we want to grab our 091. Now this is a nice yellow color. Now for this, I'm just trying to use it to blend out my oranges, not all my browns. So we want to fill in that white space, and then I kind of just go over where I've laid down the bulk of my orange, and that's it. Yes, the jets are out, even though I'm recording in the middle of the afternoon. Can't win. Okay. Yeah, we'll need our second layer for sure. I mean, you could leave it like that, but it would look a lot better with the second layer. Okay, now we're getting our 078. This is a green, and I just kind of like to put this in select spots. Very random too, by the way. Never the same on any pumpkin. But you know, pumpkins have those little splotches of green. It's just like a favorite thing I always do. Anytime I color any pumpkin, there's always a green. But it also helps deepen some shadow areas too, so you can second it as that. Okay, now let's go back. Grab your 022. I just want to go back over some of those shadow areas. See how it's making it a lot darker and more rich. That's what we want. Like I said, this paper takes really well to most oil-based pencils. That said, it still needs some layers. Let's face it, most oil-based pencils look better with layers. Now, you guys know I'm heavy-handed. I'm not a fan of layering, but you know, if you want something to look good, sometimes you got to throw down an extra layer or two. But I always go for the least amount of layers possible. Now, I could have been way lighter-handed and done this in like 5 different layers, but that's just not my style. But to make it look how I want it to look, it's going to need at least these 2 layers. I can blend it, yes. Take a Caran d'Ache full blender and just blend it out. Okay, now grab your 025. But you'll kind of lose some of the richness of the color that I'm trying to build up here so that we look like the pumpkin up here. So that's the other thing you got to keep in mind. Okay. Just laying it down. It's okay if you don't really remember where you placed your browns, just go for the general vicinity. I mean, you can kind of see it, or just ask yourself, do I want it darker here? Do I feel it needs more orange here? You don't have to worry about placing it exactly the same. I'm just trying to deepen up some areas. Okay, grab your 109. That's our first orange. It's the darker orange, but see how much better the color looks? I mean, instantly you can notice a difference. I had thought of doing this as a sped up one, but I wanted to kind of explain what I was doing and explain the reason behind the multiple layers, which is hard to do when I do those sped up ones with music. Those work better when I can just do a 1-layer type of thing, or, you know, something along those lines. Okay. Now, 004, or just call it a 4, whichever you prefer. I'm using a little heavier pressure with these last 2 colors because I'm almost using these as my blender pencils. So they're going to kind of help blend out any inconsistencies I have. A tooth that's showing. If you can, always try to blend with your lightest color. You'll get better results that way than if you use a blender, because a blender is always going to alter the color. Like the Prismacolor one really flattens it. The Caran d'Ache one kind of adds that milky tone to it. I mean, there are so many blenders, but it will change the effect. So if you can just blend out with your lightest color, that's the best way to preserve it. Now, it's not always feasible depending on how you're working it, but see, it already looks way better with those 2 layers. Okay, final color, 091. This one, again, I'm going to press a little harder and just use this as a blender all around because I've already established my layers, and these don't go on top of one another too easily. So I can go over all these other colors and it's not going to affect them very much other than help me blend them out. Now if this was a Prisma, you'd have to be a little more cautious because they're so opaque that they would cover up one another. So it's gotta keep that in mind. What medium are you working with before you go blending crazy? It's a happy little pumpkin. Okay, and there you have it. Super simple little pumpkin guy. Zoom you guys out so you can see all of them. There we go. So yeah, there you go. Those are the pumpkin combos. Again, super simple. I know it's what, 6 pencils, so that's a little crazy at first, but you can keep going back and playing with it as much as you want. This one actually has a lot more rich brown to it, but I think my camera's washing it out a tiny bit. But regardless, you can see the shading, and you can always go back and add more shading. Like, say I just don't feel that's dark enough, I can take my darkest color, which is the 022, and just keep adding to it until I'm like satisfied that the shadows are dark enough. So you can do that. You can also, if you have it nearby, your 028, which is black, you can use that to really darken things up, but be careful with the black. You know, a little bit goes a long way. But to keep it simple, I stick to those, and then you can play around with them, and then you get a really bright, fun little pumpkin. So that is my color combination. Hopefully you can use that throughout fall and Halloween. Please do join me in the group Buddy Color. It is open to all. If you're a subscriber of my channel, then come join along. That's what's fun about it. I'm not restricting it to a single channel or social media platform. So I would love to see all of your finished pages, and I hope to see them soon. And like I had said, if I get enough, I think I'll make a video of it because it's a cute page and it'll be fun. So yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with me during this tutorial, and until next time, take care.